During the month of February 2021, rumors began floating around about a new OnePlus smartphone, dubbed the OnePlus 9.
Oh my God.
This phone was talked about extensively in rumor posts,
We need to fabricate a
on social media,
Look at all these rumors surrounding me every day.
and in a few little old YouTube videos.
I think these are real.
Then, after some delicious space ice creams, the 8th of March came around and the date of the OnePlus 9 keynote was officially revealed. Things were starting to get serious. The next 2 weeks consisted of many sneak peeks, some teased Hasselblad camera innovations, and the reveal of some calm and collected, nature-inspired colours.
Let's decide. Maybe there's a happy tree. Use just the corner of the brush.
Until the big day itself arrived, March 23rd, and the OnePlus 9, 9 Pro, and 9R were officially announced. And I'm pretty sure nothing else really of importance happened. These were OnePlus's flagships, its beasts to do battle with the likes of the S21, Pixel 6, and the iPhone 13. But leading up to the keynote, I just couldn't help thinking about one question burning in the back of my mind that I was unable to shake. Why was the OnePlus 9 so hyped? Because when you take a step back from everything, it's kind of a boring phone. It lacks the clean and fun software of the Pixel, the unique attention-grabbing features of the Galaxy line, and the ecosystem and, well, just Apple-ness of the iPhone. There's phones with faster processors, longer battery life, and better designs. The hype around this Hasselblad camera system was kinda silly because smartphone cameras are already really good, and we've kind of already seen these phones before. Take one look at the Oppo Reno 5 family and you'll see a lot of shared DNA in terms of design and specifications. Also, I don't think it's controversial to say that the unique design is inspired by the iPhone 12. Kinda disappointing. I would have really liked to have seen the evolution of the 8 Pro's camera design. So, after all the excitement had wrapped up, after I had some time to process everything, and after I went out and got myself a little old 8 Pro, I asked myself again, why was the OnePlus 9 so hyped? Let's get into it. As with everything, to truly get into the meat and mashed potatoes of it, you have to start at the beginning. If you're in the tech community, you probably know what a OnePlus phone is. For the last 7 years, this scrappy startup company has been releasing flagship killers that cut unnecessary features and focus on raw performance and a fast user experience. All for a ridiculously low price. Yeah. This wasn't the evil Apple that charges exorbitant prices for their cheap and feature-deficient phones. This was OnePlus, a company looking out for the little guy, with flowering meadows and rainbow skies and rivers made of chocolate, where the children danced and laughed and played with gumdrop smiles. OnePlus pretty much set their phones up to excel in the tech community, leading to, well, expected results.
This is the OnePlus One.
For a phone that right now will blow your mind.
With one of last year's most important Android phones.
This is a pretty great phone.
Is the S9 Plus really $300 better?
And OnePlus is a company which, at this point, doesn't need an introduction.
Phone geeks and people in the tech circle love these cheap yet powerful phones, and it got a lot of them pretty excited about the future of OnePlus. Every time a new OnePlus phone came out, any video about it would get covered in clicks, meaning that any tuber who's any tuber is gonna try to cover it. So, when OnePlus accidentally leaks the 9 Pro with Hasselblad branding,
I DM the guy. I'm like, well, let's see them. And I think these are real.
or sends out packages with freeze-dried ice cream,
That's just about as gross as I remember it.
I mean, what is a content creator to do but feed the demand? And all of this helps build hype and excitement around the latest OnePlus phone launch. It definitely helps that for years, OnePlus has had a great relationship with YouTubers. Channels like MKBHD, Linus Tech Tips, and Mr. Who's the Boss always get the new OnePlus lineup of phones well before they're even announced to the public,
And yeah, you got me. I've been using the
Passion fruit iPhone.
giving these content creators ample time to make videos and giving OnePlus even more coverage. And it's through this widespread coverage that everyone has been talking about the latest big feature coming to the OnePlus phones, their camera partnership with Hasselblad. For those unaware, for years, OnePlus phones have lagged behind in camera performance when compared to higher-end flagship offerings. And, I mean, when the community heard about this rumored huge leap in camera performance, well, let's just say things got a little exciting.
I've been waiting for this moment for months, and it's finally here. Take a look at that. Oh my God!
Unfortunately, since the reviews have come out, it seems like Hasselblad hasn't actually really done much to improve the camera performance. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's all a ploy to build into the hype, and fans will feel a sense of pride and accomplishment either way. Good morning! Honestly, I would argue that the most important aspect as to why OnePlus phones are so hyped every year is that the hype is built on past successes. For the last 7 years, OnePlus' success has been built upon their ideology of their phones being solid all-rounders that places priority 1 on the user experience being fast and fluid. This pleasant experience turned many techie people, and just really anyone that got their hands onto it, into fans, and got them thinking, hey, I love my OnePlus phone, so I'll probably love the next one because it has a fast and fluid user experience with an albeit small but well thought out list of features. It's like how I love my iPhone because it, well, focuses on a fluid user experience with I mean, yeah, it has a small list of features, but I mean they're well thought out and well executed. And wait, what?
Show your
Now hear me out. Out of the 3 major tech brands, Google, Apple and Samsung, OnePlus seems to align closest with Apple. OnePlus phones aren't as experimental and gimmicky as Samsung phones, or as hardware deficient and software relying as Google's, whereas Apple's iPhones always place focus on the user experience and a small list of well thought out features. Compare this to OnePlus's focus on speed and making sure there's no unnecessary features to slow down the user experience, and you kind of realize that, yeah, not so different when it comes down to the wire, huh? And this is all great, but you're probably asking, why copy Apple? Well, Apple's iPhone appeals to a lot of the mainstream group. I mean, every year it seems like the regular iPhone model is the best-selling phone of the year. And where does OnePlus want to break into? Yeah. It only makes sense for OnePlus to see Apple's success in the mainstream market and want a bit of a piece of that. To be honest, it's kind of ingenious, really. Sell the tech crowd a phone ideology that usually looks really bad on paper, but by cutting the price and going cheap in areas they won't notice, they'll buy it. Get these phones in their hands and watch most of them end up loving and rooting for your success. Gradually drip feed them more and more premium features over time, all while slowly raising the price, and then make a flagship you can sell to the mainstream while the loyal tech crowd cheers you on from the sidelines. Like frogs slowly being boiled alive. Now, I do want to make this very, very clear. They are definitely not the same company. Apple would never make a 7 Pro, and OnePlus would never make a 10R. But when I look at these two handsets, it honestly just feels like OnePlus has taken the Apple formula, added a few Android features here and there, cut a couple corners, and sold it for a lower price. I mean, OnePlus even copied the iPhone's mute switch, and then there's all of this. Do I really need to elaborate? So, why was the OnePlus 9 so hyped? Because they made it so. Because they relied on their built-up, committed fan base and history in the tech space to hype their way to the front page of YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, and wherever else you can get techie. All in order to get more people to talk about their phone so OnePlus can try to break into the ever-elusive mainstream market. Before I knew what the price of the OnePlus 9 Pro was, I was gonna say that it was a great lineup that offered a great all-round phone at a great all-round price that keeps competitive with other smartphones in the $1,000 and over category. But then I learned the 9 Pro actually was an $1,000 phone. And everything changed. Suddenly, the flagship killer turned into just another flagship. The OnePlus 9 is a good phone. Don't get me wrong on that aspect. Heck, I'm sure it's even a great phone. It's just not that exciting. And not really that competitive or special. I would argue that the regular S21 is a better overall deal, the S21 Ultra offers a better camera performance, the Pixel 5 has a more enjoyable software experience, and the iPhone 12 is just a better overall phone. The only reason this phone is as hyped as it is because of the fan base. The combination of a winning phone blueprint and a 7-year-long gradual transition from flagship killer to flagship has kept the fan base supportive, and they've viewed the transition as the company just growing up and clawing their way to the top to offer a flagship phone with the OnePlus experience that they've grown to love. Unfortunately, the OnePlus you knew and loved, the scrappy company fighting for the best bang for the buck, is gone. Maybe this was the plan from the start. Maybe they were pressured into it, or maybe this really is the only way they can continue to grow and thrive. The means don't change the outcome. I guess you either die in LG, or you live long enough to see yourself become a OnePlus. Hashtag inspiration. But just because something has flaws, doesn't mean you can't love it. Because people do love their OnePlus phones. Now that I have an 8 Pro, I can see it. I can see where the love comes from. The fast, snappy user experience, the thoughtful features added on top of Android. Even the unboxing experience was like A+. OnePlus phones are still great phones, and that won't change anytime soon. But please, 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 don't follow companies blindly. Don't believe every hassle-bladed claim they make. Don't believe that one phone blows every other phone out of the water. And don't believe in one company that seems to have no flaws. If you could take away just one thing from this whole video, It's that the next OnePlus phone will be over $1,000. Will either perform and or look very similar to a flagship iPhone, and it will still be one of the best Android smartphones you can buy. And don't be a fanboy.
Don't be a fanboy.
Thank you for coming to my nerd talk. As to what I hope OnePlus does next, well, I'd love for them to step out of Apple's shadow, make some features, and come back swinging with an actual unique design for the OnePlus 10. Or X, let's be honest. If you like what I've made, subscribe so I can get paid. Thank you very much, Travis, for the shout out you've made. And as always, stay strong.